Hi guys, it's Katie here from Creativa, and I thought I'd do a quick video today on how I upload the Pirouette files to Cricut Design Space and how I create a project. This is just a suggestion, and of course you should do it the way that you prefer. I just thought that this would be a good exercise for you to see. So the Pirouette is a set of SVG files, and SVG files are scalable vector graphic files that you can use on electronic cutting machines. So I use a Cricut, but they can also be used on other electronic cutting machines such as the Brothers Scan and Cut or the Silhouette Cameo. So these files are available from my Etsy store, and I'll put the link in the description box below. And they are an instant digital download, so as soon as you download them, the files, they are ready for you to use. So when I download files from Etsy, they usually go straight to my downloads folder. So here's my downloads folder, and as you can see, I have already downloaded it from my Etsy store, and that folder comes as a zip file. It's called pirouette.zip. So the first thing we need to do is extract those files from that zipped folder. So I'm just going to double click on it and click extract all. It's going to select the destination folder that it's going to put them into, so it's going to put them here, and it's going to show me those files when it's been extracted. So I'll just click on extract, and there we go, it's opened it up already. We have 4 SVG files and then an SVG guide. So let's have a quick look at the guide. This will come in your zip file. So there's a little bit of chit chat here from me. There's a link to this YouTube video here, so that you can come and have a look at this video, and it will hopefully assist you in uploading the files and creating a project. On this page here, I have given you a rough guide of how many of each piece needs to be cut out. So these are all the pieces that come in the files, and this is how many of those pieces you need to cut. And then these are the mats over here, the number of those mats, and then how many of those you need to cut. For the drawers, for the sides and the handles and the roller bar, and also for the back and base. So as I say, it is just a guide, and it does depend on the weight of the cardstock that you're using. But overall, I think that this will work in most circumstances, but you give it a go and see what works for you. Then over the page here, I've just given you a little screenshot of roughly how I might set up a folder or a project in Cricut Design Space of all the pieces that I need. So again, this is fluid. I change it quite often, but I thought it might be helpful for you to see sort of how I set things up. So up the top here we have the sides of the pirouette, and then this is the roller bar here. We have 3 different types of circles, and they're all laid out there, and I've got the number that I need all laid out there. These are some little side construction strips. Then we have the back of the actual unit itself. These little purple pieces here are construction strips. And then these 4 little swirly bits here are the handles. This is 3 bases that we're going to use to construct the pirouette, and the construction strips that we need. And I've just laid them out like that, just so it's really easy for you to see how many you need and where they go. And then this is the 2 drawers and the construction strips that we'll need for those drawers. And I've put the little number of each piece nearby those pieces just to make it easy for you. Then lastly, I've put in a link to the playlist for the pirouette so that you can have a look at those. Then on this very last page, I have included a screenshot of what each of the files look like when they come to you, so that you can easily recognise which each of the pieces are. Okay, so I would recommend that you print this out and keep it handy when you're setting up your project and when you're creating the pirouette. I think this bit here is really handy, and also this screenshot here. Okay, so that's the SVG guide. Let's close that down. I'll just minimize that. And I'll minimize that, and I'll minimize that. Let's go over to Cricut Design Space. First of all, I'll show you, here is basically that screenshot set up here in my Design Space, and I have created a project and it's called Pirouette. So that's what we're going to do today, or at least I'm going to show you how I would go about doing that. So it probably won't look that neat. So let's go to a blank canvas, and the first thing we need to do is upload those files that we've just extracted. So we're going to click on upload over here on the left hand side, and then we'll click on upload image, and we'll click on browse, and it has taken me to the folder that I want to use today, which is that one where we've just extracted all of those files to. So now we need to take these 4 files and load them into the Cricut Design Space. So I'm just going to double click on the first one, and there's that file there, and I'm going to come down here to the bottom right and click on save. I'm going to do the same for all 4 of those files. So upload, browse, double click on B, check that, make sure that that's what it is, click save. Do the same again for C. Click save, and for D, browse, double click on D, click save. Okay, so now I'm going to click on each of these files that we've just uploaded and click insert images down here on the bottom right, and it's going to bring those into the Design Space. There they are. So we are currently looking at our Design Space at 100%, but I'm going to drop it right back down to 25% down here in the bottom left, so that I can move things around nice and easily, so that I can set it up. So I should tell you right now that in each file, let's ungroup this one for example. So I've clicked on this file and I'm going to click ungroup. And what you'll see is, if I click on this one here and move it to the side, there's actually 2 pieces here, one sitting on top of the other. So the purple pieces are the pieces themselves that I'm going to cut out of cardstock, and the green pieces are the mats. So if we want to mat our pirouette, these are the mats that we'd cut out of scrapbook paper, or however it is that you'd like to go about doing your matting. So I'll just put that guy back on there. And so this is the side, this is the mat for the other side of that, that piece there. We've got these 3 little circles that we're going to use here. This little swirly guy is the handle. And then we have a B file, which is the drawer and the roller bar and some construction strips. This is our C file, which is the back of our little unit, our little pirouette unit, and the base of our pirouette unit, and some more construction strips. And then our D file are a set of different file cards that we can cut out. Excuse me. So one of the first things we need to do is go and change, let me just make this a little bit larger so that we can see. We need to go and change all of these internal lines in these pieces from solid lines, which when we have a look at them, let me ungroup this one as well. When I click on this little guy here, you can see over here in the layers panel that it has highlighted the piece, and it has this set of lines here on the right that say cut, and then our purple piece itself that says cut. So for all of the purple pieces that have lines inside them, we need to change those cut lines to score lines. So I'm just going to go over here and click on that cut where it says cut, and it's got those little lines there. Go up here to the left to line type, click on the arrow next to that cut, drop it down and click on score. So now you can see that our lines here on our little piece have turned to dotted lines rather than solid lines. So what the next thing we need to do is attach those lines to that piece. So we can either select the piece like so, and that will, if you go up to the layers panel, you can see that it's highlighted both of those pieces again. Or we can just click on this section here where this little drop down arrow is, and it will highlight that whole piece for us. And we go down to the bottom here and click attach. And that's it. So all we need to do is go through each piece here. We need to change this cut line here from cut to score. Click score, and then click on that whole little bit from that arrow there, and click attach. And I just need to go and do that. Click on the cut line, change the line type to score, click on the whole little piece and click attach. And I just need to go through and do that for all of the pieces that have lines inside them, because they are lines that we want to score and not cut. So I would just need to go through each of the files and change these from cut lines to score lines like so. I'll also need to do it for this handle here. So let's click on that, and you can see it over here. It's got this funny little cut lines. We're going to click on those. Change that to score, click on that and click attach. There's nothing else that needs doing on any of those two files. This one we just need to change these construction strips. So I'll click on the file and go up here to the layers panel and click ungroup. Then I'll click on the first of these construction strips and change the cut lines to score lines. Click on the whole piece, click attach. Go to the next one. Click on the cut line, change the line type to score, click on that whole little piece where the arrow is and click attach. You can get pretty quick at this after a while. And that's it, that's all we need to do for those. So let's zoom back out again, come back over here. Now I'm going to have, I have printed out in front of me that SVG guide that we were looking at. Let's just go back and have a look at that again quickly. So we're going to set up something like this, and then we're also going to be thinking about how many of each piece we might need to cut out. So let's go back over here and start by, let's see, let's go a little bit closer. There we go, we're at 50% now. Now one of the things that it's done is it has put the piece where we've attached the score lines to the piece above the mats. So if I left click on that, I can say center back, and then I can see my mats again. So the first thing I'm going to do is group all of those together, group. And I know I need 4 of these guys, so I'm going to just pull it down a little bit and click duplicate, put those 2 guys together like that. I know I need 4 of them, so I'm going to select both of those now and click duplicate again, and I can bring that down there like that. Now it's up to you at this stage whether you want to go around and if you want to make sure that you've got those 6 little mats. There's, if I click ungroup, this tiny little guy here, we need 6 of those, 1 for each of these little arms, going all the way around. I actually don't do that myself until I go to cut them out, but that's entirely up to you. I'll just show you on mine. It looks just like that, because sometimes I'm not going to cut out the mats at all. In fact, more often than not on the handles I don't cut the mats out, but it's entirely up to you and what you'd like to do. This is just a guide. Okay, so then I'm just going to group those guys together because they're easier to deal with. And then let's have a look at the side pieces here. I'll move this to the side. So I know that if I'm making this out of cardstock, I'm going to need more pieces than this. To start with, I know that I'm going to need 2 sides. So I can duplicate this whole section here and pop it to the side like this. Now, it's up to you whether you just want to leave it at that, and then you can change how many pieces are going to get cut out when you actually do the project. That's what I tend to do. But for example, if I look at my PDF guide, this piece here is A1, this purple piece underneath is A1, and I look at that and I know that if I'm using cardstock I need to cut 4 of those because we're going to sandwich 2 of them together. So I could either decide to duplicate that so that I have 4 of those now, or I could do it at the time. So if you were to set this up now, then you would need 4 of these. So we would click on these 2 and click duplicate and drag it down here. But then when I look at the mat that goes with that, B9, is it B9? No. It is A6. I only need 2 of the A6 pieces. I was looking at the whole wrong side. I only need 2 of these. So I'm just going to pop these back on here. And, oops, I need to get him to come to the front. So center front. And that's what we need to do for our sides. I also know that if I have a look at my PDF guide, I can see this little piece here is A7. And when I look at my cutting guide for A7, I know I need 2 of these. So I might just duplicate him now and pop him below like so. And then that is all ready. So I've got all of those sorted out. Let's move this guy to the side for a minute. Oh, I don't want you to take that whole lot, just want you to take those. Right, I'll group that together. We'll move this to the side and let's have a look at these 3 little rings. So this is the larger of our rings that has that hexagon shape in the middle. So I look at my PDF guide and I can see that that's piece is number A5. So then when I look at the cutting guide for A5, it says that I need to cut 40. So I will just duplicate this until I have 40. So I'll start by duplicating once and then duplicate again. Now I have 4. Duplicate that again and I have 8. And then I might duplicate those 2 and oops, didn't quite want to do that. Let's just duplicate those last 2, please. Okay, duplicate again, and now I have 10. So then, if I duplicate that, now I have 20, and if I duplicate that, thinking about it, there we go. Now I have 40. Put that down there. Just move my little hands to the side. Now, you can make these all nice and neat. I tend to do that. So I'm going to say align center horizontally. No, yeah, that's about right. But I've got one little guy from the next row in there. Okay, let's do this. Move that to the side. And I can go through and I just want that row, that skinny little row. There we go. And I say align, center horizontally, and I can go through and line them all up nicely. And once I've done that, let's say I've done that, but you don't want to watch me do all of that, I'm just going to group them together and then I'm all ready to cut those guys out. Then let's look at the little ring. So this is the smaller ring with the hexagon in the middle. I look at my PDF guide and I know that's A4. And when I look at the cutting guide for A4, I know I need 16. So I'll go through and do exactly the same thing again until I have 16 of those. And again, I will just duplicate them until I have 16 and then I will group them all together. So that's all you need to do for this to set it up. And the beauty of it, of course, is that your electronic cutting machine is going to do all the cutting out for you. So we can have a look at this next folder and we're just going to go through and do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to ungroup this. This is for our this is our drawer. So I'm going to put these down here, and I'm going to take these ones here and just line them up like that, and then duplicate it and pop it down this side, because I know that I'm going to need one on each side. So I can look at the screenshot that's in the PDF guide, and I can see that this guy here is B1 and the mat is B9, and then I need 2 of the B1s. Now again, this is where you've got a choice. If you're cutting with cardstock, then I suggest that these purple elements, you cut 2 of them and sandwich them together for each piece, so for each drawer. So in this instance, I'm going to actually need 4 of these pieces here. I might just pop that to the side. So it's completely up to you whether you do this section or not. I'll show you this file again, and you can see that I haven't done that. Simply because I don't always know what a weight of cardstock I'm going to use or how many times I'm going to cut it out. So as a project, I just set it up like this, and then I make those changes to the project when I know what material I'm going to use to cut it out. Okay, so we can go through and do that, and then we can work out how many mats we need. But for now, I'm just going to set it up in the way that you saw mine before. So then these 3 little guys here are the construction strips for this one. So it's 3 sides of a box, but we need another one of these for the 4th side. And then these construction strips will fit around this box. So this is the longest one. Is that the longest one? Did I just pick up the right little construction strip? Let's get in a little bit closer, shall we? There we go. This is the longest one. I'm going to rotate him 90 degrees, because if you have a look, you'll see that he fits perfectly on this purple piece up here. He'll fit perfectly on here. So he's for this, for along those areas. This one is for that section. And then this little guy here, which is B7, is going to be for this little section here. So then I can just have a look at that screenshot that I've provided in the PDF, and you'll see how many of each piece I've duplicated and arranged. And you can also look on the cutting guide to double check and see that. So let's have a look over here. I have got 3 of those construction strips there and 3 there. I've got 3 of these on this side, 3 of those on that side, and then 2 each of those small ones like that. So I'll set that up for one box like that, one little drawer, and then I'll just duplicate it and pop it alongside so I know that I have both drawers there. And then for this section, we're going to need 3 bases. One is the actual base to the whole unit, and then these 2 are the drawer is going to sit underneath one of them, and then the drawer is going to sit on top of this one and underneath that one. So that's why we have 3 of those, and then the construction strips for those as well. And all we need to do is refer back to our guide, and we can see how many of each ones we need to cut out by looking at this screenshot here, or by looking at this cutting guide here. So I hope that has helped you to set up your project to create your own pirouette. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to pop them in the box down below. I really appreciate you sticking around for this quick tutorial today. I know it's a bit dry, but once you've set this up once and saved it as a project, you never need to do it again, and that's the beauty of the SVG files and being able to create projects. So I should just say, once you've set up your folder or your project in the way you want, don't forget to click on save and give it a name so that you can find it again. Okay, so I hope you join me for the actual construction of the pirouette, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and it would be great if you subscribe to my channel. I'd love that, and then you'll be able to see new videos as I release them. Thanks very much for your time today, guys. See you soon. Bye.